10 greatest front-wheel drive cars in 2022. Cadillac El Dorado, Civic Type R, Integra Type R, and more. Hello and welcome back to MIA Luxury Cars. For today's video, we will be going to talk about the 10 greatest front-wheel drive cars in 2022. Let's get it on. Number 1. The Clio RS 182 Trophy. The Clio is the world's best-selling French vehicle of all time. The second-generation Clio was a limited performance edition that stood out from the crowd. All 550 production units were only available in one color, capsicum red, and were initially sold only in the United Kingdom. It was a serious bargain for performance at 15,500 euros. Renault Sport fitted some serious performance upgrades to this car. Remote reservoir dampers are a suspension component that is more commonly found on race cars and are approximately 10 times the price of standard struts found on a base model. That means this small hatchback stays firmly planted through the turns. The 16-valve 2-liter engine also received the Renault Sport treatment, producing 182 horsepower and claiming a 0 to 60 time of 6 seconds. It's one of the last lightweight hatchbacks capable of transforming drum and bass into sensual R&B. Number 2. 1970 Cadillac El Dorado. The El Dorado was powered by a 500 cubic inch 8.2-liter V8, the largest V8 ever used in a production car. When you think of front-wheel drive, you think of a tiny two-door vehicle with a small engine and a partying teenager. However, this colossus weighed nearly 5,000 pounds and was over 18 feet long. The engine produced 400 horsepower and propelled the El Dorado from 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. Driving a horizontal skyscraper and a theoretical top speed of 126 miles per hour is not only impressive but also dangerous. It had a massive sunroof, plush seats, and like most Cadillacs, completely ignored speed bumps. Number 3. City 2 Turbo. A super light, super compact, incredibly stylish front-wheel drive vehicle that came with its own foldable motorcycle that was neatly tucked away in the trunk. The idea was born in congested cities like Tokyo, where parking is expensive. People could park as close to work as possible and ride a 50cc Moto Compo the rest of the way. The Honda City was an 80s hot hatch icon, not only for the sweet little motorcycle in the trunk, but also for an innovative upright sitting position that provided more legroom. Because of all the legroom, the City was designed for tall young men. The City 2 Turbo, on the other hand, didn't care how tall you were. Because it was quick, it was an early creation of the world-famous tuning house and race car manufacturer Mugen. Soichiro Honda's son founded Mugen, which introduced a turbo for the car that more than doubled the horsepower. To match the power, Pininfarina, the designers of the Italian supercars, gave the City 2 Turbo a wider truck and a wider body. The Bulldog, as it was dubbed, went on to have its own racing league and was an early example of a car designed and sold as a lifestyle product for the youngster generation. Number 4. Fiat 500 Abarth. The Fiat 500 Abarth is one of the most adorable small cars available today. But don't mistake cuteness for weakness. Once you turn the key, it's unmistakably badass. Because it lacks a muffler, the Abarth may be one of the best sounding cars on the road today. That's right, the turbo reduces noise to the point where Fiat didn't bother making the car any quieter. That's the key to its incredible exhaust note. Aside from the heavenly exhaust note, the Fiat is a lot of fun to drive. It's almost the same size as the original Mini Cooper. The exhaust note alone will make you feel like Giancarlo Fisichella when you're bombing around downtown. It's also highly tunable if you want more power. It has the potential to grow into a dangerous little beast. While everyone else in the industry is making their classic front-wheel drive cars much larger, Fiat went against the grain and stuck to their roots, leaving the 500 to be tiny little city ripper we all love. Number 5. Cobalt SS TC. The Cobalt SS TC is a highly underrated front-wheel drive car that set a front-wheel drive Nürburgring's lap record of 8 minutes and 22 seconds in 2008 is one such example. The Cobalt was tuned by GM's performance division to maximize its track performance. They replaced the supercharger with a turbocharger, giving it 260 horsepower, a 5.7 seconds 0 to 60 time, and a top speed of 160 miles per hour. This is due to a higher gear ratio, but more power isn't the only thing you need on a truck like the Nürb. And like most Nürburgring record holders in any category, its suspension was specifically designed to handle the course's hilly, bumpy, and twisty nature. As a result, the suspension can mitigate issues like torque steer while remaining soft enough to drive on the street on a daily basis. The Cobalt SSTC also has large Brembo brakes, the ability to shift gears without lifting the throttle, launch control, and a 5-disc Linkin Park anthology. Number 6. Civic Type R. It is the holy grail of front-wheel drive cars in the United States because we have never had one. It took 20 years, but the Civic Type R arrived in the United States last year, and it's a showstopper. It is currently the fastest front-wheel drive car around the Nürburgring, which means it is the fastest car you can drive around any town with bad roads. It's edgy and thus cool, but you can see it from a mile away, like any other American walking around a foreign country. And if you look closely at one of these things, you'll notice a lot of fake venting, which breaks my heart a little. But that doesn't stop the Type R from being a fantastic hatchback and one of the fastest on the market. It's the most hyped up front-wheel drive vehicle on the market right now. Number 7. Mini MK1. This next car, the original front-wheel drive car, literally changed the automotive landscape forever. With its transverse-mounted engine, the Mini MK influenced hundreds of economy cars that followed. Other cars had done it before, but the Mini was the first to sell, proving that mounting the engine sideways to power the front wheels was feasible. It rose to prominence after appearing in one of the most famous car chases of all time, the original Italian Job. The film demonstrated how adaptable the Mini is for city driving, and sales skyrocketed. Later on, you can learn more about this film by watching my Best 60s Car Chase video. Aside from influencing car design and being ideal for congested cities, the Mini was also a fantastic driver's car, winning numerous road races and rallies. The Mini had godlike maneuverability and wasn't afraid to take on cars with far more horsepower, thanks to its short wheelbase and low center of gravity. The classic Mini design was also successful that production continued until the year 2000s, with over 5.5 million Minis sold during its lifetime. Number 8. Golf GTI Mark 1. The Golf GTI Mark 1 is without a doubt one of the most iconic hot hatchbacks ever produced. The new 2016 GTI Club Sport, on the other hand, is a serious track weapon. It was so close to taking the title after being created in response to the latest front-wheel drive Nürburgring record. VW's 2-liter engine can no longer be called too slow. with a boost function that allows a 10% increase in power when the pedal is pressed. It's only 10 horsepower shy of 300. This thing comes straight from the factory, ready to embarrass any of your friends at any track day, with a brand new aerodynamic body kit that creates downforce where there was previously lift, and an option for semi-slick tires. And because the Golf has a long history of being one of the most popular hatchbacks among auto enthusiasts worldwide, you'll receive the highest honors in the global gang of divers. This makes it one of the most coveted front-wheel drive hatchbacks ever produced. Number 9. Integra Type R. Many people, including Pumpray, believe that Integra Type R is the best front-wheel drive car ever made. It was the best front-wheel drive, naturally aspirated car ever made. It's not always about having the fastest car ever built. It's all about providing a fantastic driving experience. Acura did not cut any corners in the development of this vehicle. There is nothing on it that detracts from the pure driving experience. It lacks air conditioning, cruise control, a sunroof, and even a rear wiper. Acura even stitched welded chassis to prevent it from flexing under stress. And the car's design is stunningly simple. It's similar to Japanese road car version of the iconic Lotus 5.6 Indy car. The B18C5 is Type R's crown jewel. Simply put, this is one of the best motors ever made. Each one was hand-built by Honda's engine builders and had an 8,300 RPM red line. It was one of the highest revving engines available at that time, and it blew everyone away. They are difficult to find, as are the majority of the vehicles on this list, because it's such a fan car to drive. People rarely sell them, and when they do, they ask a high price, which is justified given that is one of the best front-wheel drive cars of all time. Number 10. Megane RS. In the European market has always been the go-to when it comes to high-performance hatchbacks. The first two generations were lauded from breaking new lap records at the Nürburgring. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any better, Renault released the third generation Megane RS, which, like the Civic Type R, set its own record around the green hell. But if you ever go to a Touristenfahrten, which is when the Nürburgring opens its gates to anyone and everyone who wants to drive it, you'll be completely swarmed by these cars flying all over the truck. It's a serious driver's car with a smaller, more powerful 1.8-liter turbo and a slew of technical suspension upgrades. So which of the cars has caught your interest? And which car do you consider to be the best? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.